to Football with Cheese. Okay, in this video, we're going to go over the AFC East. We did the NFC East in the last video. I will link it if you did not see it. So make sure you are subscribed so you never miss a video and enable notifications. So first we're going to start with Buffalo. They went with Maxwell Hairston with their first pick. He's an undersized corner with elite speed and athleticism. He was much better in 2023 than last year. He did get hurt, so he missed all but maybe 7 games. But when he played Georgia and Texas, he did not look good. I didn't have him quite this high. Originally, I think I had him around pick 50, maybe in the upper 40s. But I moved him up because of his traits and his upside. And I went back to 2023 and watched him, and he was pretty good that year. So I think I had him 35. They take him 30. I had heard he'd go first round, and it's a huge need for the Bills. Based on their other corner pick, well, actually, technically 2 more. Despite playing a lot of man against the Chiefs in the playoffs, it seems like they're going to play a lot of zone just based on their draft picks. I think Harrison fits very well in his zone scheme. TJ Sanders, defensive tackle from South Carolina. Here's the thing. He would have been a great pick. Late second round, early third. That's about where I had him going. Because he is undersized, about 290 pounds. But the Bills must have really loved him because they moved up for him. Really good pass rusher. Obviously, he's undersized, so he's not the best run defender. But they need interior pass rush help. So one of the biggest steals the entire draft is Landon Jackson, Arkansas edge rusher, going in the 3rd round. There were rumors he could slip into the 1st round. I had him 38th on the board. And I had their 1st round pick 35th, and I had their 3rd round pick 38th. He had such a great game against Will Campbell, who went 4th overall to the Patriots. We'll talk about him in a second. He had a great game 2 years ago against Alabama. I just don't understand why he fell in the 3rd round. I get why he won a 1st round pick, because he was inconsistent. And his hand placement is high when he rushes the passer because he's 6'6", 270. So he doesn't have that bend, but he is a high motor guy, gives effort. And even though he doesn't have a quick first step, his jumps were great, so he's explosive. I think he's going to be the starting defensive end long term. And Deon Walker in the 4th round. So Deon Walker is a 6'7", 340-pound nose tackle. But it seems to me he's better at rushing the passer than playing the run. Kind of a strange prospect. Plus, he doesn't bend his knees well. So he bends at the waist, and it causes stress fracture in his back. So he's a big medical question mark. I understand why they drafted him, because he has upside, but I thought he might even fall the 6th or 7th round just because of the medical concerns. Jordan Hancock, listed as a corner here. He could play slot corner, but he could also play safety for the Bills. He's a really good athlete. Kind of inconsistent as far as production goes, but 5th round, good value. And I like this Jackson Hall's pick from Georgia Tech. He's not going to give you much at all in the receiving game. He's a Yale transfer, but he is the best blocking tight end in this draft, hands down. And the Bills like to use 6 offensive linemen on rundowns, so they don't have to do that anymore. They can use Jackson Hawes instead. So this is a really good fit. Dorian Strong, corner from Virginia Tech. He's a tall corner with good instincts, much better zone corner than man, but really good value. I could have seen him going in the 4th round, but needs to be in his own scheme. So, like I said, Bills are probably playing a lot of zone. Chase Lunt, UConn. Some people had a 3rd round grade on him. I did not. He's 6'8", but he can be a swing tackle. Wish his arms were longer, or he probably would have gone higher. And Caden Prather, Maryland. He's a tall receiver, probably going to have to make it in special teams. Maybe they see him as a gunner. Next up, we're going to go Miami Dolphins. I don't grade, obviously. We've talked about that in other videos. Grading right away makes no sense. You should wait 3 or 4 years. But I will say this, probably the most underwhelming draft, in my opinion. They did not have a 3rd or 4th round pick, mainly because of moving up. And who they moved up for was suspect to me. I did like the Kenneth Grant pick, 13th overall. I had him 16th on my board. Still, I was surprised he went that high because he is inconsistent. He is so athletic for 330 pounds and a great run defender. But he tends to play too high when he's tired and did not do well early in the year. I wonder if it was conditioning issues, so he is a risk. But I understand the upside is tremendous. He has pass rush upside as well, not just as a nose tackle. Jonas Savaiinaea, They traded up for him. I don't understand this. I don't think I even had him in my top 100. If I did have him in my top 100, he was very late. I just thought he was more of a fourth round pick, and they moved up in the second round. It felt like a desperation move. Like, he's the best offensive lineman on our board. We got to get an offensive lineman because that's their biggest need coming into this draft. I watched him at Arizona, and I know he's not the same prospect, but he played in the same offensive line as Jordan Morgan, who the Packers used a first-round pick, and he was a major disappointment. He did not look like someone that was ready to play. And Seven Ayea played right tackle, and Jordan Morgan played left tackle. So that just tells me a lot that they thought Jordan Morgan was the better player. I just did not like this pick at all. To me, one of the biggest reaches, and they moved up for him. He does have length and size, but to me, this is a reach, and you gave up draft capital for it. Jordan Phillips, Maryland, 5th round. That's about where I thought he'd go. He doesn't have a ton of upside. He played the nose tackle role at Maryland, maybe best suited for 3 technique, but good rotational defensive tackle. Jason Marshall Jr., Florida. He has size and athleticism. He was really good as a freshman and just didn't get any better. Maybe got a little worse, but the upside is there. Maybe they can turn him into a starting corner. Dante Trader Jr., safety, Maryland. I thought he was a priority free agent. He can maybe play deep safety. I don't think he can play in the box or cover very well. So probably makes it on special teams. Ollie Gordon, the second from Oklahoma State. He's a big, powerful running back. The problem with him was he was much better in 2023 than 2024. So I wasn't sure if he was going to be drafted. But the Dolphins running back room has a lot of speed, but they don't have a lot of power. So they could use him as a goal line back. Quinn Ewers, Texas. Let me tell you about Quinn Ewers. The Texas Longhorns, if they had played Arch Manning from the get-go, may have won the national title. They played Ohio State the best. And I just don't understand why Quinn Ewers played ahead of him. It's one of the stupidest moves I've ever seen in college football. Ewers is not very good. He doesn't have a cannon arm. He doesn't read defenses well. If you watch Matthew Golden's highlights, when the Packers drafted him in the first round, wide receiver from Texas, and they showed his highlights. I watched ESPN, I recorded NFL Network, watched both. Almost all his great catches were poorly thrown balls that Matthew Golden is just really good at tracking it and adjusting his body to make the catch. Quinn Ewers threw some horrible passes. Not all of them, but a lot of them were just bad passes. And they're highlights because Matthew Golden made such a great play on the poor pass. Ewers just doesn't have it, in my opinion. But 7th rounder, why not, I guess. Zeke Biggers, cool name. Defensive tackle, Georgia Tech. Might be my favorite pick of theirs, just because it was right at the end of the draft, and he's a great athlete, and he's got size. Maybe they can develop him. He has almost no pass rush ability whatsoever, but worth a shot here. 5th to last pick of the draft. Okay. Next up, we're going to go with New York Football Jets. Okay. They had a really good day 1 and day 2. Day 3, maybe one of the weakest day 3s. But day 1 and day 2 are much more important. Amar Membu, Missouri, had a breakout year, was terrific in the SEC, good run blocker, really finishes blocks well. Jets needed a right tackle. He fits their scheme. This is just a perfect match. Great pick. Mason Taylor, LSU, tight end. I didn't have him quite this high. Some people were talking about him going in the first round. I just didn't see it. He's not very good after the catch. That's why I didn't have him in my top 50. But he is athletic. He's a willing blocker, high character. He's Jason Taylor's son. I just don't think he has the upside of some of the other tight ends this class that are just better after the catch. But the Jets really needed a tight end. And then Azare Thomas, hope I said it right, corner from Florida State. I thought he'd go in the top 50. He's a natural replacement for DJ Reed. He's got length. He didn't run well. Maybe that's why he fell to the 3rd round, but really good value for the Jets. And then day 3, let's just go over them real quick. Arian Smith, wide receiver, Georgia. Malachi Moore, Alabama safety. Francisco, you can read that name, Miami linebacker. Those 3 guys to me were 7th round to priority free agents. Special teamers only. Arian Smith is so fast. Maybe he's a return man, but I think he's too small to play slot. Malachi Moore and the linebacker from Miami, to me, are backups and special teamers only. So I'm a little surprised they went this high. You could have traded back and probably gotten them. Tyler Barron is an interesting pick in the 5th round. I did like this selection. He's got good size and length. Barron just needs to play more disciplined and play the run better. And no picks after the 5th round. But that's a good draft. If you have a good day 1 and 2, then you've had a good draft. It doesn't matter how day 3 went. And looks like they drafted some special teamers, so special teams got better as well. Just thought they could have done better on day 3. And then last but not least, where are they? Here we are. New England Patriots. A lot of people had them as the best draft. I disagree. I think they did very well. My big problem, and if you've watched my channel from the get-go, you know, is I don't think Will Campbell was worthy of this pick. I don't think he's a left tackle. His arms are just too short. He struggled against some of the better rushers in this class. You have to have length in the NFL to succeed. Minimum, usually 33 and a half. But yes, NFL teams, it's probably closer to 34, 34 and a half. Will Campbell's arm length are 32 and change. So I think he could be a Pro Bowl left guard. He's very athletic. He's got good feet. I just don't think he was worth this pick. Ashton Genty and Mason Graham were still on the board. And if you're going to go tackle, why not take Armand Membo and see if he can play left tackle? So I just thought this was a reach. And maybe he doesn't work out left tackle. You can move him into left guard and he becomes a Pro Bowler there. But you just used the 4th overall pick on a guard. So after that, they did really well. Trevion Henderson, running back Ohio State. A lot of people thought the Patriots would go wide receiver in the 2nd round, but the value wasn't there. Trevion Henderson, maybe a little high for him, just because he's a change of pace, 3rd down back type. But he's great at picking up the blitz, great receiver, and he can make plays. Averaged over 7 yards a carry. When he was the guy carrying the load, he got hurt. And this year, when Henderson became more the change of pace, 3rd down back, he stayed healthy. Let Quinshon Judkins handle the early downs. So I think that's how I'll be using the NFL. Good combo with Ramondre Stevenson. Kyle Williams, this is about where I thought he'd go. Good pick. He is undersized, but he's fast, and he might be the best separator in this class. Wide receiver from Washington State. If he had gone to a bigger school, probably would have gone in the top 50. Jared Wilson, love this pick. He's a center from Georgia. He's only a 1-year starter. He has got to get stronger. That's the only real issue. He's so athletic. So let him hit the weight room. You have Garrett Bradbury, who's not very good, but he's a veteran center. Let him start for a year, come back. Jared Wilson has Pro Bowl potential. I thought he'd go in the 2nd round. He goes toward the end of the 3rd. Very good pick. Craig Woodson, California. Maybe not the best safety in coverage, but he's a good athlete, did run well. I think he can develop into a starting free safety. Joshua Farmer, very talented, high upside guy. Thought he'd go 3rd round. Definitely worth a late 4th round pick. Could develop into a starter. This was one of the biggest steals in the draft, in my opinion. 5th round, Braden Swinson, LSU edge. I heard a rumor that he was going top 50 and that New England might take him in the 2nd round where they took Trevion Henderson. That's how high some people were on him. I don't understand how he fell the 5th round. So maybe he's not a starter. Maybe he's your 3rd pass rusher playing on pass downs only. But I don't care. Designated pass rushers go in the 1st round these days. Absolute steal. They took a kicker. Okay, whatever. You need a kicker, take a kicker. Marcus Bryant, Missouri. Tall and athletic. Kind of a mess. Technique needs a lot of work. Maybe he can develop into a swing tackle, but worth a 7th rounder. Okay, they took a long snapper. Good for you. Kobe Minor, Memphis cornerback, was Mr. Irrelevant. All about special teams with him. So that is the AFC East. Let's check out the consensus draft grade board. New England is number 1. I get why they were that high. I just didn't love the Will Campbell pick. A lot of people did. So I would have probably had them more in the 6 to 10 range. But the rest of the draft was outstanding. They have a much better roster than they did a year ago. Jets was 13th. I would probably have them a little higher than that. Once again, day 3 is probably what hurt them. 17 for the Bills. Wow, they got value throughout the draft. I don't understand that. And Dolphins were 31 out of 32. Only the Bengals were worse. Wow. So, what do you guys think? Who had the best draft in the AFC East? Who had the worst? If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Check out these videos if you have not. Share this with anyone who loves football so we can grow the channel. And I will see you in the next video.